So I thought I'd do it predictions for the Champions League matches tonight. But when I went on to Will Hill, there was some games that I couldn't pick a winner really. But I decided to do this video just to give you like what I think, like the matches I think will happen. But I thought I'd do a video, let you know my thoughts on tonight's games, who'll win. And when I went through the list of tonight's games, at first I didn't pick one between Villa and Celtic. I did pick Barcelona, even though I know Atlanta are good, but I was like Barcelona right at home. Bayern and Sparta Prague. In Champions League, I think there's always two teams where I always think every week when they play, I always think they're gonna lose. And I saw them in the list, and I was like Dynamo Zagreb and AC Milan. AC Milan win, and Sparta Prague, Bayer Leverkusen. I'm like Bayer Leverkusen win, because I never ever see them teams win in the Champions League. I always see them either get beat or draw, but obviously in their leagues respectively they always win. So Bayern Munich, Slovan Bratislava. If you pick Slovan Bratislava to win, 61-1. So you put a tenner on that, and that's, £610. It's crazy. But Bayern are obviously going to win that, and Bayern have to win that after that Feyenoord game. I think they let everyone down. So then you've got Brest and Madrid, which is weird because they're quite good odds, like 1.4. I don't know what that. I always use decimals on my bets, but 1.4. You would so. For example, and it's Brest, like Newcastle played them in a friendly, and it seemed to be like an easy game. And they're playing Real Madrid in the Champions League. And you get 1.4 for Madrid or 6.5 for Brest. Obviously, it's heavy favourites to Madrid, but what I was going to say is, like the Bayern Munich one, they're so heavy favourites, they're 1.02. Like I said, to the 67-1 for Slovan Bratislava. And then, so yeah, I'll. There was a few games that I couldn't pick from. Juventus and Benfica, I couldn't. I know Juventus at home, and I normally always give they are slight favourites, so I do always try and give favourites, especially when they're at home, the benefit of the doubt. But Benfica last week, I know they got beat like 5-4 by Barcelona, but they were up 3-1 at one point. So if they could have just held on to the nerve, they would have probably got a win or a draw. But obviously it went mental, and they scored that crazy goal where they kicked the ball off the goalkeeper and it went in. It was insane. So Lille, Feyenoord. I know, again, Lille are at home, Feyenoord are away. Lille are the favourites, but I was like that Feyenoord last week beat Bayern Munich 3-0, and yet I think those 3 or 4 chances they had, they scored. And when I was watching that match, because I had them in an accumulator, Bayern, who let me down, I was watching it, and I think Bayern had 20 plus shots at goal and didn't score. But I kept laughing because every time Feyenoord actually got a counter-attack, they scored. So it was one of them funny games. Anyway, so and then there's also Young Boys who got beat last week, and Red Star Belgrade, and they're basically evens, so 2.5, 2.5, and then a draw is 3.6. But I'd probably, if I think about it, like they're probably going to get a draw, but I never really pick draws. And then one of the most shocking things is you're getting 2.7 for PSG. And I know PSG didn't start off great last week, but they came back and beat Man City 4-2. So if they've always got it in it to score 4 goals, then to get them kind of odds on PSG, I was just staggered. I guess maybe the other reason I didn't want to go through it all and pick is because some of these teams are going to, like Liverpool, they're probably going to play like a weaker team, but that weaker team should be enough to win the game. Anyways, for the bet, my choices are Bayer Leverkusen to beat Prague, Bayern Munich to beat Slovan Bratislava, Aston Villa to beat Celtic. That was the one I was a bit iffy on at first, but then I was like, Aston Villa at home, Celtic only just got a win last week. They had 3 disallowed goals, they missed a penalty, and then they won 1-0. And I know Villa got beat off Monaco, but that was an away game for them. So I think Villa should have enough to beat Celtic. And they're not the crazy odds, to be honest. Which is surprising because Villa could field a bit of a weaker team. Anyway, so Bayern Leverkusen to beat Prague, Bayern Munich to beat Slovan Bratislava, Villa to beat Celtic, Barcelona to beat Atalanta. That's better odds than the Villa one. PSG to beat Stuttgart, that's better odds by a long shot than the Villa one. Real Madrid versus Brest it's just slightly less than the Villa one. So I mean, Villa are favourites to beat Celtic. AC Milan to beat Dynamo Zagreb. Dortmund to beat Shakhtar Donetsk, and they're one of them other teams that I was on about before, where I always see them in the Champions League, but I never really think they're going to win. Like Shakhtar, like Brest, Sparta Prague, like those teams, they obviously do really well in their leagues, but they never really do well in Champions League. So Dortmund versus Shakhtar, Man City, Club Brugge. Club Brugge are another one where I always think in the Champions League they're never going to get results. They do sometimes against like lesser opponents than them. But that Man City is 1.22, and they're the home team, and like Man City have to win, so they have to put out like a good team. So that was my thinking on that one. Atletico and Salzburg. Salzburg last week I didn't think they were that good, and I think Atletico are a stronger outfit than they had last week. Sturm Graz and Red Bull Leipzig, but I think it was Red Bull Leipzig because it's Red Bull Salzburg as well. But Red Bull Leipzig I wasn't impressed with either, even though they've got that Shesko. Sturm Graz is one of them teams where I never see them get a result, so I'm expecting Leipzig to win. Sporting and Bologna. Sporting are at home. They probably need to win this game. I picked Sporting. And then you got Inter and Monaco. Obviously, Inter at home. I think Inter need to win it, even though I think they're through. But I picked them, and I think so. From that, £1 would get. I think it said it was like nearly 300, but then I had a boost on it, so I put 150 on it, and it's 349.73. And I like I said, I didn't even pick. Normally, I would pick one from every game, but I couldn't pick some of them because they were too close. So Juventus and Benfica, I didn't pick a winner, but if I had to, I would pick Juventus. Lille and Feyenoord, again, if I had to, I'd pick the home team. They need to win, but I know Feyenoord won like 3-0 last week against Bayern. So it was a tough call. And then PSV Eindhoven and Liverpool. And you're getting really good odds on Liverpool to win. And they probably will win. But I think I got it from Arne Slot press conference saying that he'll obviously have to rest players because they're already through, so they've got no reason to field the strongest team. So I didn't want to put a bet on that, because if they don't field the strongest team, it's like they're going to be happy getting a draw. So because they don't need to win, but obviously they'd want to win, but they wouldn't be upset if they didn't. And then I didn't. See, Stuttgart, PSG. Surely I picked a winner. Yeah, I did. I picked PSG. And and that's 2.7 to 3.5. That's the closest one I went between. But if PSG were at home last week, and yes, they won, but they went 2-0 down, and then they scored 4 goals against Man City, and they're arguably the strongest team in England, them and Liverpool. And the odds were just like, how can they give them odds for PSG? And then obviously the other one I couldn't call was Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade. 2 evens. So yeah, those are my picks for the Champions League final final game of the week, all kicking off at 8 o'clock tonight. So I'll probably do one for the weekend, and thanks for watching.